Hey everybody, Michael Snyder here, Pacific Northwest Weather Watch. Today is August 25th, and right now we're looking at the mid-level water vapor loop. There goes our weather maker here, the low pressure system, sending the impulse just as scheduled here across the region. And in fact, some of the models are underdoing the amount of storm coverage here, moving up across the I-5 corridor, passing Highway 12 towards Mount Rainier as we speak, potentially Olympia, Tacoma, and maybe the Seattle Metro next. A little bit less unstable the further you go north, but clearly that lightning is getting very close, and we've had hundreds of strikes here over Oregon as of last night into this morning, and we'll take a look at a map on that here coming up. But I want to show you the Doppler radar for the Portland area really quick. You can see these storms moving across I-5, the Willamette Valley coastal range, all the way up the Cascades here as well. You can see it crossing Mount St. Helens and Mount Rainier with some lightning activity associated with this as well. So interesting stuff here, folks. We're going to have this thunderstorm activity going on through the next few days with this upper level low just continuing to send these impulses up over the region. Check out Oregon yesterday. Hundreds of lightning strikes out there, mainly across western Oregon, east slopes of the Cascades, and that is headed northbound as we speak. Here's the NAM 3KM. You can see last night's run not doing a good job here with some of the coverage here across the I-5 corridor as it moves north. This would be about 7 a.m. when I'm doing the briefing currently right now. This is the European also. If we scroll out to 14Z, you can see it's kind of underdoing that coverage there also. I think it shows this continuing on mainly across some of the higher terrain as we go through the day today. But we've got multiple rounds coming here, folks. As we go through Saturday night, you can see another impulse come up across the region here. And as we go through Sunday, another bit of an impulse there as well. And then Monday, potentially the best shot here for some of Western Washington up through Vancouver Island, Southwest BC as we go through the day Monday as we start to bring some a little bit of an onshore flow here. And we're going to cool things down west of the Cascades because that's something else I haven't mentioned yet. So we're going to warm up here the next couple of days as well. We've got some warm air aloft, but the cloud coverage is going to kind of play havoc with some of the temperature forecasts here over the next couple of days. Looking at SeaTac yesterday, 78 degrees, 1 degree above average, no precipitation. Check out that 1 inch in a 24-hour period back in 2004. And this has a lightning detection system on it. Click on that link down below to save 10% off. Stores all the data for you in the cloud. Highly recommend that station. This is 8 meters above the ground here. This is the HER. So we do have some degraded air quality around the region. Not as bad as last round and not as bad as it can get here for this time of year, as you guys know if you've been here for any length of time. But you can see that surface smoke still bouncing around as we go through the next day or two, and especially bad across central and southern Oregon here. Some of the North Cascades getting a pretty good dose of surface smoke here as well. This is looking at the air quality index. You can clearly see it's degraded here across the region, but not exceptionally bad. You can see moderate across Seattle and Portland, and kind of a mixed bag here across eastern Washington, a little bit worse for the North Cascades and the central and southern Oregon Cascades as well out towards the coastline. And the red flag warning does go for about 5 p.m. today. This goes off for areas 1,500 feet or higher, west slopes of the Cascades. So yeah, pay attention out there if you're out and about. And hopefully this lightning strikes all over the area here are not starting new fires here. But yeah, it's usually not a good thing when you get this many lightning strikes across areas west of the Cascades when things are dry. So here we go. We're looking at the European on the left versus the GFS. You can continue to see that low pressure spin off the shoreline here. And then the main feature here as we go through the day Monday, you can see the European pretty steadfast with showing this precipitation. GFS agrees as we go through the day Monday here as well. So it's going to be an interesting few days here with thunderstorms continuing to pinwheel around this low across the area. This is looking a little bit further out in the forecast, and you can see the low pressure out here. We've got a ridge across some of the area, sneaking up into the Gulf of Alaska, across a lot of the lower 48. So we're going to warm up a bit here as well, but again, that cloud cover is going to kind of play havoc with just how warm we're going to get. And as we go out a little bit into the future, you can kind of see that trough eject here, then potentially other troughs form and ridges bouncing around here. But we'll take those with a grain of salt right now, purely fantasy forecast stuff in the future. This is the lightning flash density potential, and this is the HER this morning. So it's showing some of this activity move up across the area, and it does show it getting towards Olympia and Tacoma here, and maybe even SeaTac as well, and maybe across the Seattle Metro a bit here as we go through the noontime hour and move north across the North Cascades as well. And then as we scroll it a little bit further, you can see that next impulse Saturday night, mainly Cascades east according to the HER, but then there's going to be additional impulses after that as the HER only goes out 48 hours. Now this is looking at a nice visual diagram here of what's going on. You can see that cold air aloft here marking that low pressure system system, the upper level low at about 18,000 feet. You can see our system pinwheeling around there, and there's going to be additional ones as we go through Saturday night to Sunday here as well. And then Monday, the kicker as a trough, you can see the low pressure system start to move through the Pacific Northwest. Going to cool things down a bit here west of the Cascades, but one more very warm day here east of the Cascades probably on Monday, and then maybe some cool down coming for pretty much a lot of the Pacific Northwest as this trough kicks through. This is the day one thunderstorm outlook. You can clearly see Seattle is under the gun a little bit here too. Portland, the Washington coast, this include Vancouver Island and some of southwest BC as well. Now this is looking at total precipitation in inches. This is last night's run, and you can see just not a lot of precipitation showing up in some of the models with this initial wave. So this is really concerning here. There could be some forest fires starting up here with all those lightning strikes across Oregon. Then we get a little bit better chance here as we go through Monday, but still not tons initially. And as the trough ejects, you can see we start to bring some across BC here, and some areas are looking like they're going to get some decent precipitation out of this. And this stops at 144. I'll show you the GFS now here because it goes out a little bit further. So there goes our initial impulse there. And then GFS not doing too bad with that as well. And you can kind of see it even gets up and clips the Seattle area there with this initial one as we're dealing with today. But then we start to roll out towards Monday, and that's when we want to watch here. So you can see the precip starting to come as we go through the day. Monday, spreading up across British Columbia. Some of the Cascades getting in the action here by the time we go into Tuesday. Look at some of these amounts here showing up on the GFS as we go on in through next week. We can hope extinguish some of the fires there, or at least help with it across some of the North Cascades into British Columbia here. So cross your fingers with that. Still a little bit of a fantasy forecast. We'll see just if we can get some model consolidation as we go between the European and the GFS into the future. This is looking at the national blend of models here. This is for today. I don't know if we're going to get to 84 in Seattle with the cloud cover out there, but that's the forecast right now according to the national blend of models. And you can see for tomorrow, even warmer. Look at that, 87, some 90s showing up down towards Portland here as well. Well, we'll see about that. With the cloud cover, it can be tough to get up to some of those lofty temperatures. Sunday, again, another quite warm day. Temperatures aloft are going to be very warm across the region. Then you can see Monday, kind of a transition day as we start to cool down here west of the Cascades. Another very warm day here east of the Cascades. And then by Tuesday, things really cool down across much of the area here. Maybe not even getting barely into the low 70s here for Seattle. Southwest BC here as well. So that would be a welcome relief here after these warm days coming up. But yeah, the thunderstorms are definitely the biggest weather feature, the newsmaker here over the next few days. And you can kind of see that upper level low allowing this warmer air to move up across the region here. I'm just going to scroll through this. You can see here we go through Friday into Saturday afternoon here. You can clearly see that warm tongue of air all the way up across Vancouver Island into BC. Includes Oregon and Washington as well. Sunday, one more pretty warm day west of the Cascades, but the Oregon coast is definitely going to be feeling the cool down here as you go through the day. Sunday, even though I think that's probably going to get, it's probably going to hit them a little bit early, but you can kind of see the Washington coast staying pretty warm here as you go through Saturday. And then you see the cool down start as we go through the day. Monday, west of the Cascades, and then you'll just have to trust me there. The European only goes out 90 hours, but then we're going to get the cool down across much of the region. So looking at 850 millibars, this is the temperatures all aloft. So you'll kind of see that low pinwheeling around here. We've got some offshore flow continuing here. Not exceptionally strong, but it is there. And you'll see those very warm temperatures exist on in through Monday. Then we start to get that break as we go through the Monday afternoon time frame there. And eventually that'll spread across a lot of the Pacific Northwest, as I've said. Seattle, Tacoma, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, then the cool down comes after that. Who knows what the future brings as of right now. We'll worry about that later. Here's Portland. You can see Monday, the cool down coming here as well, but you could be dealing with some 90-degree temperatures here as we go through the weekend. This is Bellingham, even some warm days as you go through Sunday here as well before the cool down on Monday also. Here's Bellarmine Airport there out there in Hoquiam, and you can see a pretty warm day here today and even tomorrow, and then the cool down starts to arrive. Here we go with Eugene, and this is the European as well. And you see some pretty warm days coming up here. A bit of a cool down, though, as we go through early to mid next week. And this is Tillamook, already, kind of seasonable out there on the coastline right now. Not as warm as the Washington coast the next couple of days. This is 6 to 10 day temperature outlook here. Not a big deal here right now. Upper level low spinning off the coastline, right around average. Kind of difficult to say exactly what's going to happen. Actually, the 6 to 10 day would be just after the trough ejects here. So yeah, take it with a grain of salt right now. Probably shouldn't be too worried about it. Same thing with the 6 to 10 day precipitation outlook here. You can see the fires ongoing right now. And we had a lot of lightning strikes this morning. So hopefully we're not going to be kicking off other fires across the coastal range, the Cascades of Washington, Oregon as well here. So cross your fingers for that. And of course, Canada continues to burn, just kind of drawing attention to that. Hopefully we can really douse southern BC and central BC with this trough as it ejects across the region. And this, we looked at this yesterday. This is the 2-week comparison. Actually, this is more than 2 weeks. This is more like 6 weeks. This is like July 4th here, and probably 7 weeks actually. But as we scroll across, you can see the drought starting to be reintroduced across Montana, Idaho, Washington, Oregon, increasing its coverage as well. We've introduced that severe across some of the Cascades, even southwest Washington getting the action, and much of the Willamette Valley there is under severe drought as well, but the Portland metro is still considered just abnormally dry for now, and kind of that little sliver of abnormally dry across the Seattle metro there as well. But yeah, starting to introduce some more drought here across Pacific Northwest. Hopefully we can put a dent in that, of course, as we go through the fall months. This is looking at sea surface temperature anomaly. There's South America, maritime continent. Here's Africa here. So you can see this would be the water right off the coast of South America, and this would be the water in the El Nino or the ENSO region, 3.4, where we measure El Nino conditions. You can see we've gone from La Nina here, neutral, and now we are slowly but surely increasing those temperatures there across the equatorial Pacific, marking the arrival of El Nino. And as we scroll through here, there goes La Nina in the rearview mirror. Wave bye-bye. Who knows when La Nina is going to be back. But here we are out towards August 23rd. You can clearly see the slow but steady warming trend across the central Pacific here. And when you're dealing with El Nino, this changes the entire circulation of the Pacific Ocean. It's the biggest ocean in the world. It has big impacts across the rest of the planet here. So yeah, I do have an educational video on El Nino and what happens here in the Pacific Northwest and some of the West Coast here as well. So check that out if you like also. This is Nino 3.4. We are at 1.3 right now. So that's getting up. We're in moderate now, and that's getting close to strong El Nino territory. Once you hit 1.5, you're technically in a strong El Nino here. So we may be headed for that. But some of the stronger El Ninos, I don't know if we'll get there. Like you'll hear about the Godzilla or the King Kong El Nino or whatever you want to call it, where you get to 2.5 or 2.6. I don't know if we'll get there. Doesn't look like it right now, but definitely headed towards probably some kind of a strong El Nino nonetheless. So let's see if we can update this and kind of see what's going on here with the lightning. I mean, it's getting close to Olympia right now in Tacoma. You guys are probably seeing the clouds off to the south, clouds overspreading the Seattle metro as we speak. Look at that cluster of lightning moving up across the region. And in fact, let's click on this one more time too as well. We've got 150 frames actually right now. Let's go down to about 21 and let's watch the most recent loop here and hit play. But yeah, went over Mount St. Helens there as well. It's got some lightning associated. You can see it moving up. It's almost to Olympia right now, but as you can see, it's losing a little bit of its punch here. You notice some of that red disappearing on some of those last frames. Let's bring that down to the 7th frame here and just let it loop. You can kind of see it weakening as it's approaching some of the Tacoma, Seattle metro here. So you could still get some a thunderstorm embedded in this stuff as it comes north, but maybe it'll just bring some light rainfall here or some moderate rainfall across the area. But watch out for lightning. There is the potential there with this stuff as it moves northbound. And of course, we're going to have multiple rounds of this as we go through the weekend and on in through early next week. Monday's system looking particularly interesting as well. So anyway, hope you guys are liking these videos. I'll do my California video here next. Hope you guys are watching those from time to time. Also, click like and subscribe. Leave some comments below. And we will talk again tomorrow. Check back on Twitter for some afternoon updates here or some late morning updates here. Sometimes I post on there updates as well. Seattle weather guy. So anyway, I will talk to you guys tomorrow at the latest, and I will see you guys then.